Yo, 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 peace, peace. What's happening with your FB Nation, Facebook world? It's your boy, your Tandem Tools, you know what I'm saying, the B&W host, boy Lavelle, Claiborne. On the left, my boy here, AP, Aaron Peve, you know what I'm saying. Today we got an exciting show, which I like. Talk about a subject is guns, gun control, but a lot of bop, 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 spraying and everything. I don't think it's too soon for that, is it?
Yeah, depends on who you talk to.
Okay, we'll be a little bit more sensitive to the subjects going on. Of course, we're not making light of any situation because anything we have guns and kids, we all want to mount up and do what we have to do. The question is, we all say this is what I would do, but what would you really do when it's really you? So with that said, we got a hot one going down, so we're gonna let my man AP go ahead and take it away here.
Yep. So we want to welcome you to another episode of the greatest show ever.
Always, always.
So this show, we're taking you to a gun show.
That's right, baby.
No, but really, we have decided it's a good time to address guns with the recent school shooting in Florida and the situation in Georgia with the teacher.
Yeah.
We are looking at gun control versus the Second Amendment. Now, to say, personally, I am a gun owner and a hunter. I haven't done it in a while, but I do enjoy it.
I'm not a hunter. I'm not a gun owner at this time, but I will be securing my sidearm. So just my stance on it.
Yeah, and so y'all know. So again, we are both pro-gun. So if you have any anti-gun issues and you want to come on the show and talk with us about it, we'd be glad to have you on the show and discuss equal sides in a controlled, easy to talk to manner. We'd like to hear your point of view.
Discussion's everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So further information, I was a member of the NRA. Currently am not. Because of the price tag that comes along with being a member.
How much is that? How much you paying?
When I was doing it, it was between $25 and $50 a month.
NRA.
That's the low end. Of course, there's upper ends that comes with additional perks
and those that don't know what NRA stands for, National Rifle Association.
National Rifle Association. It is one of the most popular and well-known political lobbyists out there. So there's many lobbyists. This is one that just gets the most
deep pockets, baby.
All lobbyists have really deep pockets. Yeah. They're just the one that's most fought out because of it's guns. It's guns.
And what's basically happening with the tragedies that's going on, first thing they want to look at is the NRA.
Of course.
But one of the misillusions, I think, is they think that the NRA actually controls guns.
No, that is incorrect. They do support politicians that are pro-gun and are gun advocates. So they don't just willy-nilly support and to give money to stuff. They have to be the right gun advocate, and not just somebody who carries a gun but understands gun safety and everything that goes with gun ownership. Because just having a gun is not, anybody could, but there's more to owning a gun than just owning a gun.
So you can't just join the club if you have a side piece.
Right.
You got to follow a certain code.
Right. When it comes to being a politician and you're wanting support from the NRA.
Right.
So, because anybody can just go become an NRA member. That's the low end, the 25, 50, I don't know what it is now for initial NRA membership. And all you're doing is you're just contributing money to allow them to continue to support the politicians who are Second Amendment advocates.
Got it.
So, do you want to go over NRA numbers, or do you want to go over second? No.
It was funny when you was talking that because briefly, I did want to share something when I did look up the NRA as far as basically what they're making. Again, the NRA does not control the guns. The thing about it is they just seem to be the bullet board because they're the club. Basically, they're considered the gun club. We spend so much time focusing on saying, hey, the NRA, the NRA, the NRA. It's really not the NRA. We need to look at how we're gathering these guns, how they're being acquired. Basically, you can go down to the right block at the right time and get your side piece. You know, it's just that simple. You know, it's really acquiring a gun nowadays. You know, it's really no different than trying to go out and get a sack. Really, if you just know where to go get it, you know, you really can't get it. It's just the truth of the matter. Just like going to Vegas, you really want to get into some trouble with a couple ladies, you can really go find a couple ladies, get in trouble with it. It's just that simple.
Right.
You know, that's the reality of the world now.
Correct.
You know, but what I did find interesting was that I just couldn't get numbers of just the NRA himself, but the NRA is basically it belongs to a conglomerate of some other constituents. So combined with 6 other constituents, their gross amount coming as of, I couldn't find so recent, but as of 2016 was 433.9 million. Okay, now understand that's what they brought in, but I was surprised to hear that what they put out was 475.9 in expenses. So they put out basically a little bit over 20% of what they brought in. They were spending out. Now, NRA has big money. A lot of that money that they had roughly from, they say roughly into 2015, had about 42 million that can roll over. So, you know, you got a reserve. So nobody's to say how much was reserved in 2014, 2013, you know, go back to the inception. But, you know, when you have big money like that, once again, it's the club. The big money has the club. They are the lobbyists. What is the lobbyist? Basically, they're defending or promoting their product. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
so,
their rights.
Their rights. Their rights for, you know, to be in this club. So,
yeah, because the NRA doesn't have any products in themselves.
Correct.
Also, like bumper stickers and that kind of stuff. Like, you know, the logos that they own.
Right.
But, you know, it's not, they don't sell anything. All the money that they have, that 433.9 million in revenue, all came from membership donations, dinners that they do, anything like what any other politician would do. You know, they do their fundraisers, they have their dinners for $1,000 plates.
Right. Which was surprising as well. Number 2, there's a lot of surprises. Like I said, surprising. The NRA membership, roughly around 245 million people. Right. Don't know exactly, of course, you know, it's their own club, but roughly around 245 million people. I'm trying to think of how many churches can we combine to get 245 members. I mean, damn, 245 million, that is a lot of people. So when you look at 433 and what they're bringing in, I mean, you got to understand that with the company comes, you know, their constituents. So yeah, you gun manufacturers, people that makes hunting equipment, things of that nature. So, you know, all those gun owners, like he said, he's a hunter. So of course he's going out and he's spending money on hunting equipment. So that whole industry itself, it's 433 is not surprising when you really think about just guns. Right. You know, just the concept of guns and money and what it brings.
Yeah, and don't get an understanding. Just because I'm buying stuff on guns or for guns, that money doesn't go to the NRA. That money goes to the manufacturers of that product.
Right.
The NRA doesn't push nor overly endorse any product without them being a membership of some sort, or having, you know, corporate sponsorship of the NRA. And the NRA does take into consideration who and what it decides to endorse. They're a big advocate of Colt. Colt is an American-made gun that is used specifically by Americans. The American forces, the police, I think they all, Colt is a big one. I know Smith & Wesson's another big one, but Colt is American-made and also sells in America.
Right. Right. You know,
they always push and focus on Colt a lot.
Right. I mean, it's just like, you know, big thing where, I mean, so, because I didn't want to jump in, I know we're talking about numbers, but did you want to talk about the shootings and stuff, or which way you want to go? I mean, so much juicy stuff. It's like this sandwich. When you bite into it, you're like, man, I got some meat.
Right. Yeah, we can talk about the shootings. Yeah, let's go and talk about the shootings and the misinformation in regards to shooting.
Right.
Go and do these numbers then.
So, for instance, look at shootings. Okay, so last year, roughly 57 school shootings. Okay. Went ahead and I just looked at went up on the site, just see here, every town. It's everytownresearch.org. Okay, basically what they do is they track all the school shootings over time. Now this goes back quite far, but what I did want to look at in contrast was the difference. Now, since 2013, there's been 294 school shootings. Just last year alone, there was roughly 57 school shootings. This year, we're only in March 3rd. We're about to have March Madness. There's 20 school shootings in 2018. Okay, so when these school shootings happen, what do they say? Oh, we got to talk to the NRA. The NRA. No, it's not the NRA. What the kids did was the right thing. They went down to the Capitol. They went down to the politicians, and that's who you're supposed to speak to, because you need to know where to direct the energy. It's just like if the club fucks up because they're a fight. Don't go this way just saying, okay, well, it's them one group of people, we're going to change the format. Now let's go ahead and think about what we need to do and to make the atmosphere of that club a lot safer. Maybe you have too much of the wrong ingredients. A lot of times we're just yelling because we just mad, but we're not yelling in the right direction. So when you see our youth go down to the politicians up on Capitol Hill in Florida and speak to the right people, I applaud that, because they're actually yelling in the right direction, which tells me that we are waking up and we're not just yelling, we're actually directing the energy to where it needs to be directed to start the proper conversation. Big up Colin Kaepernick.
But on that same point though, so like you just mentioned, there was 23 school shootings so far this year, but yet we've only heard about the one.
Right.
So why is that?
Right.
Was it was it the nature of the shooting? Was it because of where it happened, or was it because of that doesn't make sense, right?
It could have been that there was nothing interesting in the news that day.
Right.
Oh, we're gonna pop to the school shootings. Well, they always have school shootings. Guess what? LA, South Central, shit. Some places in Phoenix. I mean, it's just like that. New York, back east, Florida. It's not just to say, okay, well, why is this school shooting the one that we see when this school shooting happens maybe once a month? There's at least school shootings over here. Okay, why don't we know about that?
It's a good question. And to me, school shooting in general comes down to, one, an educational thing, and two, it's a school security thing. It's not so much a gun control thing as it is a school security thing. So there's still questions to be asked as to the hows and whys.
Do we have enough money in our budget to put in the right security measures to prevent guns from coming in? Because are we talking about solutions yet? Because you see I'm about to go out because dumbass wanted to say let's go ahead and put a gun with the teachers. We just had the conflicted teacher in Georgia, 24 to 36 hours ago, lock his ass up in the damn classroom without the kids, thank God. No later than 48 hours before it was the incident with the school shooting. And yeah, he say, okay, we need to arm our teachers. You know what? It's going to be the right person at the wrong time with the wrong child that's going to pop off and shoot them, and then all hell's going to break loose. Nah, we're not going to go ahead and arm teachers. We're not, because you know why? They're human too, and they can have a bad day, just like that teacher in Georgia did, even though he had an immaculate record for the last 17, 20 years, however long he's been teaching.
Right.
No, wrong person, wrong day, right time. Bow!
Yeah,
Things
and God bless the teachers.
Right.
They have a hard enough job as it is.
Right.
To force them to be the safety advocates or carry guns in school makes about as much sense as your tax man figuring out whether or not you had health insurance for the year.
Right.
Same amount of sense. It makes no sense.
None.
Right?
Did you have coverage? Yeah, we just filed taxes. Yeah, we had coverage. What if I would have said no?
Right.
Oh, we can't file taxes. Bullshit.
Right. Right. So
government want that money. Insurance is not IRS. You know what? You can just file that form later. But right now, we're gonna need that money that you owe us. Go ahead and send that check on in.
That's right. So, what are the right measurements for school safety? We don't know yet. That comes down to conversation, right? It's the right people.
Peace, Terry.
That's my mom.
Mm-hmm. That's my mom.
See you. It's the right people to give in the right conversation in the right situation. Not yelling at each other, but actually trying to figure out a solution. And that's always what it comes down to, and it's gonna take time,
Right.
because we're not gonna take the guns out of the hands of citizens. It's just it's unfeasible. It doesn't. It'll be a bigger fight that way than it would be the school shootings.
It'd be worse than trying to keep a bottle of alcohol away from an alcoholic.
Right. And we all saw how that went, how well that went in the 1930s with the prohibition.
Right.
Right.
It gets ugly.
It gets ugly.
It gets ugly. You know, I mean, we were speaking of rights and key word underlined rights. So while we're on that, let's go into the right. Which rights do we truly have to bear arms, and which do we not?
Right. So
there's really not a right not to bear arms.
So going into the Second Amendment, I'm going to read to you a little passage. It simply states, "The fifth and last auxiliary right of the subject that I shall at present mention is that of having arms for their defense, suitable to their condition and degree, and such as are allowed by law, which is also declared by the same statute 1W blah blah blah, and is indeed a public allowance under due restriction of the natural right of resistance and self-preservation, when the sanctity of society and laws are found insufficient to restrain the violence of opposition." Now I'm reading this to you, and it sounds like the Second Amendment. It is not. This is actually the English Bill of Rights. So it was written in the 18th century. So during that time, they believed that their citizens also had the right to bear arms.
Now, notice the last part you said was, you said that once again was insufficient.
When the sanctities of society and laws are found insufficient to restrain the violence of opposition.
That's right. So, you know, like this shirt, defend the land. Yes, you know, when they can't do it, we still have the right to go ahead and do it ourselves.
Right. So the true meaning of the Second Amendment, yes, it's so everybody owns a gun, but this is the true meaning behind the Second Amendment. Number one, to enable the people to organize a militia system. That means, and that's legal, lawful militias. That's not ones that are terrorist militia, right?
Right. So we good guys, we can team up, you know, for the right cause.
Right. Essentially, it's like the Minutemen, the National Guard is actually
Border Patrol,
militia, and beyond Border Patrol. But Border Patrol is something else. They're under law enforcement, but that's actually government control. So militia is actually separated outside the government military. There's many. The Minutemen are probably the best example. They are not government controlled. They are citizens who've come together deciding that their mission in life is to defend the country should anything arise. Okay. Number two, participating in law enforcement. So, and that essentially is like the volunteer police department.
Yep, volunteer cops.
Okay. Deterring, okay, this one's an interesting one. Number three, deterring tyrannical government. Okay, so this is when the government all of a sudden decides you no longer have the right to bear arms. Well, guess what? We have the arm to tell them, yes, we do.
But in New York, you can't have any type of gun control, self-defense. You know, I mean,
it's New York City, Washington D.C., and Chicago.
Right.
Are gun-free cities.
So,
and by the Constitution, unlawfully.
Right.
Gun-free cities.
We're supposed to be able to have the right to bear arms. So,
correct.
What happens if New York go to shit? I got a sneeze coming. Hold up, people.
Yeah, I had mine.
Excuse me.
DC, I somewhat see because that's our capital, but then that tells me I want more armed citizens in DC than not. To me,
right,
because that's where we want our most defense.
It seems like it's all in the wording. You know, oh, I have a right for this. No, you don't, because that's the law. But the Constitution says that that's my right.
Yep.
No, you don't.
Yep.
Because the law supersedes the Constitution? No. How I look saying that? Does the Constitution supersede the law? How's the Constitution being perceived? It goes back to the judge. Remember what we said about laws in one of the other shows? We said our previous show was the law is written correctly. It's just those that perceive that judicial judgment.
Right.
That's where the bias comes in.
Right. Right. So the number 3, and this is what I said again against armed citizens in D.C.
Right.
Or sorry, number 4.
Right.
Repealing invasion. Right. So when our militaries are doing their job off-site,
right,
and we seem to be left alone in the constitutional U.S., Hawaii and Alaska included.
Right.
It's like you have countries going, you know what? They're left undefended.
Right.
Well, I don't know if you know the story from World War II. So in World War II, Japan sent over spies to the continental United States. I think it's a fairly well-known story, but I'm going to repeat it anyways because it goes on this.
A little bit of history. All
right. So they sent over spies to see, should we invade the United States? Their spies came back and said, do not invade the United States. And when the emperor said, well, why not? He said, because their citizens are more armed than their military. We'd have a bigger fight invading the land than we would fight in their military.
That is true.
And that's why they decided to attack Pearl Harbor, a military target, instead of the Constitution.
Which in turn they awoke a sleeping giant.
Right. And then they found out they were correct in their assumption was to attack the United States.
Right. Yeah, we're going to leave them guys alone. Number one, there's too much water over there, and we're wasting a lot of fuel, and our pilots are tired for flying that far.
Yep. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Good points, man. Just stay at home.
Right.
Just stay at home. It ain't worth the trip. It ain't. You know.
And then, so number 6 is suppressing insurrection, which means riots, heavy internal domestic terrorist groups trying to take over.
In-house coups, all that.
Yeah. Yeah. We as citizens have the right to defend against that.
Take it all out.
That means the government nor any other citizen is allowed to take your guns from you, right? Or take your guns, take your rights, any of that from you. And then last but not least, facilitating a natural right of self-defense.
But you can't be too tough, because if you're too tough, you consider it a dangerous threat.
Right, or a bully.
Right.
Right.
Can't be too tough now, because then they're scared of you.
Right.
You know, but once again, I'm defending myself. I'm protecting my household. I'm protecting my family. How are you going to tell me I can't do that?
Correct.
Well, we said it's the law. Once again, I'm protecting my family, because when it comes 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't think the law's coming in here to save me and my family. Right. But you know what? This Nina 9 gonna really do it.
Right. And then to go on the whole gun control, well, there's too much guns out there. We need to control guns. We need to, strip people of their guns and stuff. So what if I came to you, to my Senate, my senator, my congressman, and they went to Capitol Hill and said, you know what? We need everybody to stop reading the Boston Herald. It's no longer allowed for you to read the Boston Herald. You can no longer read Playboy. Playboy is no longer allowed. You're not allowed to read Playboy.
Right. Right.
Any movies that include actor Brad Pitt, you're no longer allowed to watch.
Right.
It's out.
Right.
We're having Brad Pitt control from this point forward.
And what's the reaction? Who the fuck is you?
Right, exactly.
Tell me what to do.
And that's the First Amendment, right? That's the First Amendment. Reading, right? The right to press, the right to free speech.
Yep.
And movies is under free speech and art. And then they tell you that you're no longer allowed to pray. Well, they have that now. You're no longer allowed.
Right. Or they just take it out of school.
Right. They have it out of school. Which I think you should be allowed to pray whoever your God is. Whereas,
thank you.
God, Allah, the giant spaghetti monster,
Northern Bright Star.
Right.
Whatever.
You should have your
Fourth Saturday, Sunday.
It's not
whatever.
forced upon you, but you should
Right.
have your right for your moment.
Because, I mean, you fast. You got kids that fast through school. They're not forcing them to eat. They
Correct.
understand, oh, you're fasting. Oh,
Correct.
I get that.
Right?
But, yeah, I can't, 3 times a day pray if I happen to be at school. There's
Right.
no place I can swear I can go ahead and
Right.
pray. Once again, we pick and choose what we want to honor. But it's like, maybe our voice isn't heard enough, or
Right.
we're not directing that voice in the right way to
Correct.
go ahead and change that.
Right. So the thing is that they're trying to, the government trying to strip away your First Amendment rights.
Right.
You know what prevents them from stripping away your First Amendment rights? The Second Amendment. And that's why it's there.
Come get me if you want to.
Okay.
I got something for
And
you.
my last
I wish
passage.
you would.
My last passage I wanted to read. It's a little article from Alexander Hamilton.
Right.
You know the man. He's on the $20 bill.
Yep.
Uh,
Let me get that dub, please.
in 1788, if circumstances should at any time oblige the government to form an army of any magnitude, that army can never be formidable to the liberties of the people while there is a large body of citizens, little if at all, inferior to them in discipline and the use of arms, who stand ready to defend their own rights and those of their fellow citizenship.
So it said it cannot be formidable,
Right?
correct?
Well, it's saying the government should not be creating any kind of military to overtake its own people, right? And they can't do so as long as there's armed citizens willing to defend my rights and your rights.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Second Amendment is for. That's what guns are for. That's what they're all about.
Right. Speaking of guns.
Yeah, and anybody who misuses these tools, these rights, for something as cowardly as the Second Amendment, as cowardly as taking your money, as cowardly as coming into your own house while you're sleeping, is a freaking coward.
Already.
Right?
Hide behind an excuse. Already. So, what we're going to show these cowards,
Yep.
some show and tell.
Yep.
What to mess with, what to not mess with. This is the part I'm loving.
Okay.
So we're going to bring out some kahunas.
We're actually gonna.
We're not bringing out big kahunas, but we're going to bring out some dent in your butt stoppers.
Right.
All right, just to go ahead and have a show and tell moment to show the people, what some hunters like to hunt with.
Mhm.
So the first one.
So this is the segment what I'm going to call this is what guns are for.
This is what guns
This
are
is
for.
we're actually going to take you to a gun show.
And I'm gonna be the 7-year-old that's gonna ask all the questions, just so we have a little gun education going on today.
So what I have here, this here
Yep.
is not evil. It is not dangerous. It does not have any purpose other than to be.
Guns don't kill people. People with guns kill people.
And not even guns. I've seen, I believe in Nice, France, where a gentleman drove a truck. Well, I'll call him a gentleman. I'm using that term loosely.
through
Drove
the
his
market.
truck through the market,
Through the market,
and killed
yeah.
20 some odd people.
Yeah, man.
That wasn't a gun.
No.
That was a car.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Quite a lot of those happening in Europe too.
Yeah.
What's up with Europe
Yeah.
with all the people with cars want to run through?
because
Man,
they don't have a Second Amendment.
They try that
So
shit
they
here.
use
Right.
they use other means.
Yeah, because if you run down, I'm surprised, man, because you know what, and that's one thing, when we had the one, was it back east, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the guy in the Charger ran through the crowd. If there was any gun owners in that crowd, do you think they would have shot that old boy?
Yep.
Because he driving a Dodge Charger through crowd, running through people.
Right.
You do that at the wrong place at the right time, that dude ain't going to be driving that car very far.
So this gun I want to point out, as I'm going to.
Yep.
The gun is unloaded. There's no magazine.
What's up, cuzzo?
Clip is clear.
First, what kind of gun is this?
So this is a Remington 597 or a 22 caliber.
22 caliber is what the main name is that you would hear in news stories.
Yeah.
22 caliber rifle.
Yep.
This is what they're referring
This
to.
is a 22 long one.
Okay. Now, are they always black and gray?
No. This is a style.
Okay.
Some of them come wood stock. Some of them will come what they call assault rifle style, where it's all black and it has these little handles and it has scope and all that stuff. How you dress it up doesn't affect the gun anymore than what the gun is. 22 is a 22.
Okay.
Whether it has a banana clip to it, or whether it has a pistol grip handle, or it has some cool muzzle firing thing to it, it's still a 22.
Now, what do you hunt with the 22?
So a 22, the purpose of the 22, it's more for target practice. Like you're having trouble with your accuracy, you want to pick up a 22.
Right.
Go to the range, go out to the forest someplace where you have plenty of room, because it's a light fire rifle. The cartridges themselves actually are a what they call rim fire. So on a cartridge, so this is a bullet from another gun that we're going to show you. So you see this has the little hole in the center. That's a center fire. So 22s don't have that. It's a solid back, and it punches more on top. So that's why it's called a rim. That's a rim fire. Okay. So it has a light recoil that is very accurate if you know how to use it. There's not a loud bang. There's not a loud pushback. That's the recoil. And they're easy to fire. They're fun to handle, fun to shoot. It gets you comfortable with shooting a gun, and you can really control your safety behind a 22.
So it's just basically target practice, like clay shooting, things
like no, clay shooting. No, you wouldn't be able to do clay shooting with a 22.
Okay.
Clay shooting is a shotgun.
So like bottles on the fence?
Yeah. Okay. Like battles, paper targets.
Okay.
They are excellent varmint guns as well. So you can, like if you have a snake problem, 22s will work well for. A lot of people like to use 410 shotguns, but 22 works just as well.
Will they do rabbits?
Yeah, they'll do rabbits. Smaller rabbits, I wouldn't use it on jackrabbit.
Okay.
It's a little inhumane for a jackrabbit.
Birds? No.
If you're a good shot, go for it.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't bring any 22 calibers with me, but 22s are really tiny, small.
Gotcha. Small. Are they more like pellet shape?
A little bit bigger than a pellet.
Okay.
But I mean, they're a cartridge, but like the slug in itself is like that big.
Okay.
So and that's why I say it's a target practice. It's really to help you get down your accuracy.
Okay.
That's what a 22 is for.
So then, when you graduate from the 22, we go to what next?
So next, I'm going to jump up to this bad boy. This is my double barrel shotgun. I'm pointing this at the camera. Normally I don't do this, but it is a cool look just because it's a double barrel shotgun. Mine is a 20 gauge. It is a bird shotgun. I use it primarily for dove hunting, quail hunting, grouse, anything smaller birds such as that.
Now you said 20 gauge. Are there different gauge shotguns?
There are different gauge shotguns. So the smallest gauge is called a 410.
Okay.
But they start at 28 and they go up to 10.
Okay.
Now when you think, well, but 28 should be bigger, right? No. So think of it as a piece of paper and you're kind of rolling it up, right? And the number of circles that it creates is your gauge, right? Gotcha. So a 10 gauge is going to have less circles, so it's going to be a bigger gauge. So as you really roll down your paper, there's like 28 gauges in there, right? So it's a smaller circle because it's okay. So that's how to think of that. So mine's a 20 gauge. It's a smaller gauge cartridge, easy load. I'm not gonna put it in there because again, it's gun safety. Gun safety is always first priority when you're handling a weapon. Even though it's unloaded, my safety is always on. Okay, it's always on, and even when it's loaded, it's always on until I'm ready to shoot.
Right.
That's just part of gun safety.
Right.
Making sure your gun's properly clean. If you can look down the barrel, I don't know if you can.
Barrel.
There's no particulates in my barrel. I like to keep mine clean and ready for use. Even though again it's unloaded, there are shots at the ready. And again, these are 8 pellet, so it's bird shot, perfect for home defense because you will hurt the bad guy, especially at a close distance,
That'll bring your asthma back.
without doing a lot of damage behind you or to your neighbor's house.
Now, show people. I see there's 2 triggers on here.
Correct. So again, this being a double barrel, it's the right side of the right barrel and the left barrel. They have their own triggers.
Right.
So when you fire, you're gonna fire the front. Well, however is easier for you. You can shoot the back. You just got to remember which barrel you're shooting with,
Right.
so you can take proper aim.
Got it.
Because again, even though you're shooting dove, you want to hit it as much as possible to be more humane in killing it, so
Right.
it doesn't suffer. You want to take it out as quickly as possible. And being it is 20 gauge, it's a much shorter range. So again, you're not going to shoot a long distance at a dove or quail or whatever. It's all you're going to do is hurt the animal and eventually die a slow, painful death rather than that quick death where you can collect it and eat it.
Gotcha.
And you should eat it. If you're killing anything, if it's not self-defense and you're killing something, you should be eating it. That means don't go around shooting the house, neighborhood cats and dogs unless you're gonna eat it. And that's,
Put it on the Barbie.
right. And actually, I have a great recipe for dove. So good.
Oh.
Marinate. Oh, so good.
We'll have to show you the experience when we go hunting.
Yes. So that's what a 22 is for, or
Okay.
a 20 gauge shotgun is a bird hunting tool.
Okay. So, don't worry, we got some more.
Yeah, one more.
So we got another one over here.
Yeah.
It looks to be a little bit level. So now it looks to be here junior, midweight. Now he's bringing out a heavyweight.
Yeah. This is actually my first gun I've ever bought.
What's the price range?
Well, actually, you'd be surprised. This one is a Remington model 7600. It is a 30-06.
30-06.
So it's a 7600 and 30-06.
Okay.
So notice I can't cock it back.
So it's locked. Now you did mention something about the safety. You can't cock it back. Now,
correct.
My question is: all guns come with a safety.
Yes, all guns come with a safety.
Is there a way that you can put an additional safety on?
Of course. There's trigger locks. There is a chamber locks. There's all sorts of mechanisms out there. There's a muzzle lock you can get. So there's all sorts of ways to add additional locks to your guns.
Right. Especially keeping them in the house or around your kids.
Correct.
Well, I have children want to protect your household, so these are some things you can think about, additional locks besides just relying on just the general safety.
Correct. Yes, and if it is not your expected home defense weapon, it should be correctly locked up.
Okay.
Whether you keep it loaded or not, it's up to the individual. That as long if you're somebody who has handled the gun many times and an advocate with your guns and you know how to handle a gun. Granted, it is always safer to store your guns unloaded, but then it's not good for your chambers because then your guns are more exposed to the air with an open magazine slot.
Gotcha.
Right. So a lot of people have gun safes and gun cabinets that lock up, so that way it keeps out of reach of the children and those who don't know guns. So again, mine have ammunition at the ready here and ammunition at the ready through here.
It's a cartridge on this one.
Yes, it is there's a lot. You can buy a single action bolt. You can buy bigger clips. You can buy what's called a pump action, which I don't. Well, this is pump action, but what you would do is you would load it in the gun. It's an internal magazine, and once you cock it and you fire and it expels and it puts the next one in the chamber. That's what they call the semi-automatic.
Right.
Well, or pump action.
Now I notice here you got 2 different types of bullets. It appears to be. Now, can this gun use more than one type of bullet, or is just the design of that specific?
No. So this is a 30-06. It will only fire a 30-06. Hi, Aunt Debbie. She's calling in.
Oh. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, people.
Yes.
So.
So it'll only shoot a 30-06 caliber cartridge.
You're right.
So, and what that means is the cylindrical shape of the bullet is at a 30.06 millimeter.
Okay.
Right? So that's what that means. Now the shape of it, as you can all see there, so one's a bit more pointed and one's a bit more rounded. So this is a 160 grain, so that's the weight of the actual slug, and this is like a 200 or 220 grain. I forget what I got on this this point. It doesn't tell me because it's just Springfield. But anyways, so what it does, so with the 30-06 is one of the most versatile hunting rifles ever. Most hunters, they like to carry a variety of calibers of rifles for depending on what they're hunting. So anything as small as a black-tailed deer up to anything as large as a grizzly bear.
So you can do an elk to a grizzly bear with the 30
Oh, you can do anything as small as a black-tailed deer, a mule deer, an elk, as big as an elk with the smaller grain, the 160, the 180.
That should be a universal baby right there.
If you're going something bigger,
right,
like a grizzly or a big elk, 200 grain. The only thing you have to get closer because it doesn't travel as far. But 160 grain, the 30-06 will easily shoot 1,000 yards plus with complete accuracy.
So you're looking at 1,000 yards for the 160 grain versus about 500-600 yards for the what's that?
The 200, 220, yeah,
okay.
Plus. Yeah. So and again, it comes down to being humane to the animals that you're hunting. You would it's a matter of killing them on the first shot as much as possible, because nobody wants to walk around with a gut wound. If an advocate hunter, if they shoot them and it's a gut wound, they will track it down and that will be their hunt.
Right.
But the animal will take some time to die off and they will suffer, and it's it's not fun. But as a little side note of history, the first sniper record set by a Marine in Vietnam was done with the 30-06.
Okay.
Yeah, and I believe I want to.
Needs to split with the.
I got to do a little lookup, but this kind of just came to me.
Right. 30-06 with a special cartridge.
No. It's just barely military. This is Vietnam, so
right.
At that time, the M16 was considered high-tech weaponry at that time, which is M16 nowadays. As fun as they are to shoot, they're not as high-tech as some of the guns that there are now.
Right. A lot of them coming in now for sure. And it's still funny because we have so much of a focus, but when we break down really to say, okay, what's the problem? Is the guns, the NRA, is how we're acquiring these guns, what are we doing about the guns? But when we look statistically, did you find it?
Yeah, let's see. Vietnam sniper, 94 confirmed kills.
25.
900,000. Okay. There we go. So, at. I was not supposed to slide down. Yeah, this is it. It was Hatchcock II. He was a Marine. He had a custom mount with, of course, a custom scope. So that's about all he had. He had a confirmed kill at 2,500 yards with a 30-06. So,
he good with that scope.
Yeah.
He good with that scope. Peace, Patrick. My boy out there reaching out, showing a little love.
Nice.
So
appreciate that.
It's funny what I was saying. It's funny because how these tragedies are happening, we're focused on so much of the minute as far as where we think that's the big problem, the big systemic problem, but it's really not. So we did actually have a breakdown of the tragedies here. Where's that one with the statistics?
Yep.
And it shows right there. So within all the guns, so based off 2016, okay, we have fatalities. Okay, homicide injury, basically, shooting, gang violence, all that, all of that, that's only 8%. Our everyday lives, we would look at that and say, oh, no, this is the problem. It's more than 8% versus 70% of unintentional injury versus that 70% unintentional being uneducated on basically how to handle firearms altogether. So that whole category within all these various categories is still classified as unintentional. This is miseducation. Yeah. So if we have better education within that 70%, that 8% that we focus on so much, and we try to make that 8% the 90 to 100% of the problem, that 8% will actually dissipate down even more. That 8% that we focus a lot is actually the 8% that we live with outside in our communities every day in certain parts of this country. Right. So if we can better educate the 70, change that up, maybe that 8% would dwindle down to about 2%. But we have a long way to go from there. But it's just funny how when you really break down the numbers of it, and then you have I find it was the undetermined intent injury. Undetermined intent, 2.5%.
That means the number of fatal gunshots, which they couldn't determine was homicide, illegal ramification, suicide, or just by accident. That's the undetermined fatal gunshot wound.
Right. 2.5%. That's what that 8% should be. 2.5%.
Right. So I want to give those percentages some actual numbers. So in 2016, the number of fatal gunshot wounds. 231,991 total. So, granted, that's a lot. That's a lot of people to die from a gunshot, right?
That's a lot.
As we was talking about, the unintentional gunshot wound, gunshot fatality, which means misfire at the gun range, right. Kids playing at the house,
unfortunately,
hunting accident, any one of those things. That 70% is 161,374, right? So that's a good number of education, improper gun safety that just wasn't playing a part at that time,
right?
To account for it.
Even educating on how they acquire it or selling the guns. You see what I'm saying? So that education could come on both sides.
Correct.
Pre and post.
Correct. Now the fatal gunshot wounds by homicide, that's the 8%.
Right.
19,362. So that's the number that the anti-gun, the poll, the
right.
revoking the Second Amendment people
right.
are focusing on. 19,362.
Right.
Yeah, 20,000 people. That is a lot of people. I agree. That's a lot of people to want to control, to have the control over and bring that number down. But showing you the same number, 2016. I'll show you this. 2016. Got this information from the Highway Loss Data Institute and the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety. The number of fatal car accidents and the number of deaths involved in that. Okay? So in 2016, it's the same year that I got these numbers for gunshots from the CDC, the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. Why the CDC believes the gun control is a disease, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways.
There's germs.
Right.
Guns carry
it's
like
a big
money, I guess.
I guess if you wash your hands enough, the gun bullets will go away.
Right.
I guess.
Some.
But anyways, number of fatal crashes in 2016, same year, so even comparison, 34,439 fatal car accidents, resulting in 37,461 deaths. Right? So the number they want us to focus on
is 19,000.
Because they can take away your guns. For some reason, they want to take the guns out of the hands of the citizens. 19,362 versus, everybody should get a car. A car is necessary.
Right.
So they can go to work to provide tax money to the government.
That's right.
So that way they can take away our fucking guns. Anyways, that number, 37,000. Right? That's more than twice the number of fatal gunshot wounds by homicide. And homicide is anything, and it's not black and white violence.
Nope.
It's gang violence. It's school shootings. It's domestic violence. It's mugger on the street. It's somebody coming into your house and shooting you while you sleep.
Right.
That's the cowardly bullshit that we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Right? That's the homicide.
That's the 8%.
Now, another statistic on the same is suicide. Suicide by gunshot. Right? Fatal gunshot suicide. 44,965. That's 19% of the all-around number. 44,000. Right? So that's okay. That's a greater number than the fatal car accidents, right? So now that you're taking the guns out of the hands of these people that are committing suicide, meaning they're shooting themselves. They're done. They're gone, right? Mm-hmm. But now you're taking that gun away from them, and guess how they're going to commit suicide now? Fatal car accident, right?
Or don't forget the opiates.
Right. Or the other one. Right?
42,000. So we have just as many people overdosing on pill popping as we do with suicides of death.
By gunshot.
19%. Bigger than gang, bigger than the homicide. It's a bigger problem. But what do we want to focus on? Oh, they're fighting over there. Who is that over there, celebrating and laughing? Let's go see why they're celebrating and laughing. Don't worry about them fighting. Let's see why they're celebrating and laughing. We want to control that laughing.
Right.
We're going to steer the direction from where it should be over here because we're making money as long as we keep that chaos going over there.
Right.
We're staying in business.
And plus, opioids. Y'all know what opioids are, right? That's Vicodin, that's Oxycontin, that's morphine, it's
hydrocodone, or anything with an ene and it's a cotton and a ending in a cotton and a monosomogram and
so those are prescription drugs. You know how much money the government makes on prescription drugs?
Taxing them.
Right?
Taxing them.
Yep.
Taxing them.
And then there's 42,000 fatal overdoses in 2016.
2016. Same year. 2016. It's just now. This is what I'm saying. We're just so late. It's like we're not late. The problem's always there, but it's funny how it becomes mainstream that we're gonna identify this problem now. Right. We're gonna be taking care of this problem now. Only when it becomes too many people are getting rich or the wrong person dies. Which has a lot to affect to when somebody's going to want to start bringing attention to this particular subject. Mm-hmm. The wrong politician's wife OD'd, nephew, relative, somebody OD'd, friend. The wrong person passed away. Oh, we got to change this. Mm-hmm. We got to change this. Mm-hmm. It's just to say, unfortunate as it is with drunk driving. The wrong person was a victim of drunk driving, hence became mad, these organizations. Right. Now we're all in that pool, but we have this react instead of being proactive. Those that want to be proactive, if it's not money in it for us up front, let's wait till it happens because there's going to be a whole hell of a lot money on it on the back end when we're trying to say, we're going to create this, we're going to institute this program, we're going to start this, we're going to bring awareness to this. Because we want to react, profitize, capitalize, and then hold our position so we can then start directing and delegating. Mm-hmm. We need to wake up from that, man. That's what we need to do. Right. We need to have fun with our guns in the right manner.
And actually, I believe if we have better control over opioids and prescription drugs and not overdosing our own children and people and putting them on this crap of drugs, Because every time you go to the doctor, it's a drug of some sort.
Right. Oh, the flu coming out. No, that's because you created a new strain. I ain't hearing that bullshit.
They're not looking to cure you or fix you. They're looking to suppress.
Right. Doctors aren't into the business of stopping sickness. They're into the business of not even preventing, but in order to containing sickness.
You're fixed.
Right. I'm going to take this and I'll come see you in 2 weeks. I'm going to go get me a couple pills, but this problem may come back because we want you to come back. We don't want to tell you how to stop the problem. We just want to tell you how to handle the problem and maintain the problem. You see, we can't have you not, basically stop giving us money.
Which reminds me of a story.
That's why the chiropractors are so nice, because they stop it. They try to get to the root.
Reminds me of the story. This guy goes to the doctor's office, says, "Doc, I'm having this problem."
Right.
And the doc says, "No problem. Here's some on my head.
Some 3-syllable prescription drug problem."
Yeah, it's God, no. We'll come back to that.
The punchline don't even get funny. No. You're like, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, I forgot that one, but yeah, we just want to, when it came to that, it was just to keep it moving. We just wanted to go ahead and just share some things about it, but this, this gun control and where we're trying to direct attention to. And the NRA and all, man, the NRA ain't that. The NRA's a scapegoat, yo.
Right.
The NRA ain't nothing but a scapegoat, man. You know what I'm saying? The private club ain't handling nothing. They just in the business to protect themselves. Go down to your people, go down to your delegations, try to elect new officials to put into Congress because, right now we just got the old regime. As long as the old regime is up there, they're just going to keep spilling off the same words to you. So, we can get some new young blood in there. Like I do see, we do have some young politicians jumping in the game in other parts of this country here. So with new mindsets, because they are young Americans, that didn't quite live like the older Americans in Congress have. So their mindset, on where they are, where they came from, and how they may see how the country can be better going forward, becoming one, that's their agenda. But we just need new faces in there to change that, man. So as it is, but we got to keep going.
Yep.
We had, yes, we like to be worldly as well as, within our own country. We had the Olympics. A lot of my peers don't watch the Olympics. I'm hurt with that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, the Olympic Games came around in the resolution of war. Let's stop going and fighting for 2 weeks and let's battle through ceremonial games.
Right.
In a sense, that's what football is. That's what baseball is. That's what basketball is, man. You know what I'm saying? Instead of chopping it, put your money where your mouth is. Let's see how good your squad is. Who's the top dog. But anyway, the Olympics I thought was quite nice. One thing I like with the Olympics is the opening and ceremony games.
Yeah.
I love the introduction of the country.
Yep.
Their history. Brazil, loved it. Brazil I really loved, with that influence. I actually did a lot of research after, watching their opening games. Yep. But with that until, I just thought that, you can see certain countries and dominating at what they're good at. Apparently U.S. is not the best at winter sports, period.
Yep. But it was good. It gives us something to strive for.
We're underdog, which I like it, so everybody's, going for everybody. So, we just want to share a little insight. So when it came to the Winter Olympics, what did you like?
My favorite sport, and it's a recent thing that I kind of come across, is I love watching curling.
Me too.
Curling is
me too.
I'm going to join the curling league. I want to.
I already looked up. It's a Tempe.
Is it?
Yep,
it's
a Tempe. I'm going to join the curling league.
Curling
Cold as shit, but I'm going to get out there in the ice.
I think it's the ultimate team sport because it's team, it's skill, and it's partnership all in one. You got to rely on your team. You have your sweeper that knows how to sweep, right? And then you have to have your skill. You gotta know how to sweep. You gotta know how to release that rock and how the speed and the angles and does it need to turn right? Does it need to turn left? And then you have your accuracy. Is it going down the ice the right? It's just an all-around sport. I think it's a beautiful all-around sport.
Curling, to me, ain't nothing but playing pool on ice. Curling is about angles. It's about speed, physics.
Yep.
A lot of that. Physics and geometry.
And strategy.
Right.
There's a lot of strategy to it.
I grew up in a pool hall. You know, what we do? Them pool tables ain't nothing but hitting the ball with the right English, get the curve around, hit this to hit this, combo, 9-1 corner pocket, you know, all of that. You combine that on the ice, you take a little bit of that with chess.
Yep.
Because you notice one thing is once you hit the ball, or once they hit the rock, you know what I'm saying? We got to go a little terminology, curling terminology. Yeah. So once they hit the rock goes down to the bubble, then you're like, yo, you gotta make sure it stays there. So when they come sweeping in, and then I started understanding that because you know the sweepers is that English. The sweepers make the rock curve on the ice to go around another rock or whatnot.
Right. And make it go faster. Slow it down. Get those angles. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what I'm saying. You got your team. You got to rely on your team. To make the right sweeps.
But I like the bobsledding.
Bobsledding.
Yo, shout out to Nigeria, man. I don't care if you don't medal. My whole thing is, look, you're in the Olympics, dog. First of all, if you finish 14th, you're the 14th best bobsledding team in the world.
For sure.
That's nothing to hold your hand around.
For sure.
Us sitting at home on TV talking about, oh, they suck. No, they don't. They better than you on the couch talking that shit. I'm telling you that.
And go.
Right, you in there like, whoa, yeah, and then the ski jumping. Dog, every time I see the ski jumping, I just think of the York Peppermint Patty commercial. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, but then on that half pipe, so many people wiped out. That is one thing I like to watch the Olympics, though, because I do like to watch the people wipe out.
It's always about the wipe out.
I like the bobsledding team when they wiped out. That half pipe, the men and women wiped out. Dude wiped out so hard, dog. He landed, I swear to God, he did a flip or something, which first of all is dope as hell. It's just hard, the skill level to just flip 3-4 times. But he missed that half pipe, and he came down, and it looked like he landed on his nuts, and it was like right in between. He split his legs and landed right on his nuts. Dude, the stretcher came through, but I mean, I felt it. I was like, ooh. Like his nuts just swell up. They swole up. I know they swole up like golf balls.
I'm sure he walked away with elephantitis.
Yeah, I think he was laid out. He was just open laid. He ain't even sitting on a plane home till probably a week later. He like in the hospital with ice. Just I'm not going home yet. Nah, man, that's too long to go to Canada.
Get the hemorrhoid pillow just for
You're right. You know what I'm saying? The air pillow cushion ain't working, man. You know, but I just thought it was just dominating. You know what I mean? What it is. So I'm looking forward to Japan. You know, we can actually get out to. I've been talking to Mike right now. I'm trying to get out to Japan for the Summer Olympics in Tokyo, Japan. Okay. I ain't never been to Japan.
I hear it's a nice place to go visit.
Yeah, for real. You know what I'm saying? Pops and my big brother went down to Okinawa. You know, I don't want to go to Okinawa necessarily. I just want to go all over to Japan. You know, get some of the food, but it just be bound to be out there. But you know, the medal count, man.
Yes.
U.S. ain't that great.
As it was, if the medal count was on the medal podiums, we would not have been on the podium stand.
No.
We didn't even get bronze. We got 4th place.
Nah. We clapping.
Yeah.
Nice job. Way to go.
23 medals.
Right.
Well, we got 9 gold.
All right. Right. We like Michael Jordan, you know.
Sure.
But Norway dominated, man. Norway dominated, you know. But
snow was their steroids.
You know. But what's also funny is though, in Winter Olympic, the medals are so low. Summer Olympics, U.S. 130, 200 something medals. Like all the countries be getting 100 something medals because there's so many events and games. But you know, it's just interesting. But we did want to share that tidbit with the big Olympics going on. You know,
and then of course, we're speaking of the curling. Men finally won the curling gold. So
so
congratulations to them.
There's going to be a curling wave going on in America now. You know, because the men didn't want gold. Now everybody think we can get out there on that ice and slide. And sweep and slide and sweep and slide and sweep, you know. So it's gonna be something else. But you know, like we said, man, like to talk about our events, like to talk about our sports. We done wiped up the Olympics. We had the Super Bowl. That was fantastic. We got March Madness coming up. Right. Like in the words of Dick Vitale, it's gonna be bananas, baby. It's gonna be bananas. We're gonna see this fire rapper jabber. It's gonna be awesome. Shout out to Dick Vitale, man.
Sure.
So, we got our own little bracket
That's
that we came up with. So instead of saying, the total 68, which, everybody should know, right now is all the big tournaments going on, Big East, 10, Pac-12, all of that's going on for the city because March Madness is about to jump off on the week. So, all the seasons have already been, or teams coming in. You may have one or two bubble teams that they're trying to figure out. But anyways, we went ahead and took our own top 16. All right, so my boy AP, he went ahead and just showed you on the screen, top 16. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an actual college draft right now of these 16s. We're going to seed them. And then we're going to pick out, for our next show, we're going to discuss, break it down as far as how we thought and who we thought of and which team came to the conclusion. So,
these 16 teams aren't current teams. These are all-time greats.
All-time greats.
College teams.
So he's going to read off the first 8. I'll go ahead and read off the second 8, just so you can see what all 16 teams are in this bracket.
Right. So, first team that came to mind was the 68 UCL Bruins. This team included greats such as Lou Alcindor. If you don't know who that is, he's also known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. This team was the first and only team ever so far to have a 6-time repeat. That means they won it in 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72.
Greatness.
Right? So, and that's why I picked the 68 team, because they repeat and then they repeated, so obviously that the whole team didn't repeat, but
the team, they were the true dynasty. That's a true basketball dynasty. So,
number 2, I picked, and this isn't any kind of seed whatsoever, this is just the teams that came to mind, was the 76 Indiana Hoosiers. There were many Indiana Hoosier teams to choose from again, like the 78 Hoosiers who had Larry Bird, great team at the time as well, but I picked the 76 Hoosiers because they went 32-0 for the season, meaning they are even to this day, are the last undefeated college team.
Perfect.
Okay. The 56 San Francisco Dons. This is the first team to record an undefeated season, which included the great Bill Russell. 1992 Duke Blue Devils. They are also a repeat NCAA title team.
I don't know why you want to put them on the list, but they was great.
Yeah.
But at the time in '92, that was Christian Laettner, Grant Hill. Everybody hated Christian Laettner from that '92 Duke squad, man.
That's why they're up there. You know you're hated because when you're great.
You gotta respect them, though.
Yeah.
You have to.
The '82 UNC Tar Heels. That's the Michael Jordan, James Worthy, Sam Perkins team.
Yeah.
It's their only. Jordan was a freshman at the time. It's their only.
You see that commercial, Jordan go baseline.
Yeah.
With the tongue out.
It's their only NCAA title year. But it was a great team.
Yeah.
The 1990 UNLV Rebels.
The Shark.
Yeah.
That was Coach.
And they
Shark.
They are the last non-Big Six, which is Pac-10, Big 10, Big 12, all those guys.
Big Mama, Stacey Augmon, Plastic Man on that joint, man.
They're the last Big
Nick
Six
Van
conference
Exel.
to win an NCAA title.
Man.
And then you got the 1982 Houston Cougars. That's the Five Slamma Jamma.
Five Slamma Jammas, boy.
Yeah, it's Clyde Drexler and Akeem Olajuwon.
Man, the dream himself, where he was perfecting all that before you saw that greatness when he got drafted to the Houston Rockets. And then that's the one when he scored Shaq.
Yeah.
Shaq's rookie season, his first playoffs, he matched up against the Dream. Got schooled.
Yeah.
Got schooled.
Yeah.
At that one time, you saw the era of where the center position is, and then you saw Shaq of where the center position was going to.
Right.
It never was the same from there. But then you have Tim Duncan after, which sort of came along the Hakeem the Dream.
Right.
But from a center position in history of basketball, man, he was one of the greatest. Just like Bill Russell.
For sure.
We can't even knock him out. Bill Russell had
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem. you know,
Yeah.
than the other great.
That's why every time someone brings up the subject of Jordan versus LeBron, I say, well, what about Bill Russell and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Yeah.
You talk about all-time greats, they only include those two.
That's barbershop conversation,
right?
man, if all day, man.
Right.
You know.
And then my final team to bring to you, the most watched college basketball game of all time, Magic versus Bird.
Ooh.
This is the 1978 Michigan State Spartans.
Ooh, everybody know, man.
That was their first meeting,
man,
and not their last.
First of many, boy. Yes. I mean, that still is the man Googled. So, all right. So we have the second 8. And now we do have the 96 Kentucky Wildcats, the Untouchables. You know, basically, I want to say that's really what first put Kentucky hit squad on the map with the start going in there. Yep. They didn't one and done so much as what they do now. Kentucky used to keep their players for about 2 to 3 years at least, and then they'd be out. They may have some one or done, but they was real, you know, special talents. But nowadays it seems like they're more one and done. Although this year, them boys gonna be there for about 3 years. They current class ain't no one and done in Kentucky. No, they gonna be there. They gonna be good. Yeah. But they gonna be there about 3 years till they come out. So second we have the 84 Georgetown Hoyas with the all-great Patrick Ewing and Reggie Williams. Right. You know, shout out to Ewing. He's back there coaching his alma mater again. I don't think they are going to get into the big dance this year, but however they may get into the next year, he's got the program back. Hopefully they're going to do big things. But boy, was he dominant at Georgetown. Man, he was the big dude everywhere he went. I mean, everywhere. You just look, oh, who that? That's Patrick Ewing on TV. That's how you knew. Big dude down in the middle, dominating, dunking, blocking, everybody. You know, we got the 97 U of A Wildcats with Mike Bibby and Jason Terry. Man, you talk about shooters all time. And I'm correct, we were talking before the show. I think that was the one that Sean Elliott was on that team as well. Or did he play with Mighty Mouse and Damian Williams and that came afterwards? Or... yeah, Mighty Mouse was after or before Bibby, or right around that time?
It was right around that time.
It was right around that time somewhere. But you talk about shooters, though. Man, they used to come down with the great Bill, the coach.
Luke Olson.
Luke Olson. Yeah, man. And then we have the 1960 Ohio State Buckeyes. Only title in school history. I myself wasn't alive in 1960. I didn't even see 1960 Ohio State Buckeyes. So I ain't going to pull up some research on them. I'm going to watch the game, check out that team of the season. Like I said, when we follow up on the next show, you know, which will be 2 weeks. Yep, 2 weeks. We're going to be 2 there. Big St. Patrick's Day party. Yep, see. We'll announce at the end of the show. Right. We'll announce end of the show. Also, next up we have the 2004 UConn Huskies. Now, if those that don't really remember, that was the first year that UConn men and women's basketball team won the national title. Yeah. Was 2004. Don't want to forget the women in this. Right. And that was actually Ali, who was coach over there now, if he's still coach, but at the time, Jim Calhoun was coach. Ali was the point guard, who is now over there, the coach now. Kevin Ali, who was the point guard. And
Diana Taurasi on the women's side.
Yep, DT, who came out to Phoenix. Mercury. You know. Now, next up, we have 1990 Loyola Marymount. Basically, they wrote the NCAA record books with that season. Was that an old boy? What's the name with the overdose? Did he play in that team?
That was the year before.
That was the year before?
So, yeah, so this year they kind of dedicated the season to him. And when I was looking at them, they had single player records, team records, they had game records. They rewrote the book. Yeah, they was a dominant. Loyola Marymount was a dominant powerhouse in college ball back then. Now we do have the 07 Florida Gators. Joe Noah. That was the last repeat team so far.
Because if people don't know, the coach of that team is now the coach in the NBA at the Oklahoma Thunder. So just to go ahead and let you know that, Mr. Slickback. What's his name? I just got a name blank, but anyways, keep it moving. And we have the 88 Kansas Jayhawks. Old Danny Manning and the Miracles. That's right. You know what I'm saying? Next up, Danny Manning and the Miracles. That's right. You know, but that season...
You have 11 losses on the season, you still come out with the NCAA title.
Yeah.
That's That's something.
That was real something right there as well. So that's what we do have as far as us in our bucket list here. So
yeah, like I said, we're gonna seed them ourselves. So we just got
our raffle.
I just did the first one. We'll do it after the show, so that way we don't take too much show time. But I just did the first one, so I just kind of drew a piece of paper out, and then the first seed on the first side of the bracket, which is the 97 U of A Wildcats. They'll go here. Lavelle will pick the second one, and they'll be the 8th seed, so on and blah 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 until we have it all filled out.
Yep, that's how we're gonna do.
So that's just to show you. So next show you will see the results of our bracket.
Yep.
And then we'll get some voting from you all out there. Maybe some live while we're in, again, the announcement to come at the end of the show. Some live voting going forward.
Yay!
So
we're gonna drop it like that. So next show. Got a special announcement where we're going to go ahead and get down on that as. Actually, our next show is going to be scheduled on March 17th. As y'all know, that is St. Patty's Day, or what I like to say,
with that?
Green Beer Day.
That's right.
Basically what I like to call St. Patty's Day.
That's if you go to a crappy bar.
Right.
If you go to a crappy bar, they will serve you green beer. If you go to a bar, they'll still serve you green beer. The bar we're going to,
green beer?
They'll have green beer.
Oh.
But they'll have Irish beer.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
They will have Irish beer.
Irish beer and whiskey.
Yes. So March 17th,
yep.
We got an invite
live on site
from a great bar out in North Phoenix on Bell Road and 59th Avenue.
Bell Road, 59th Avenue. We will be doing our St. Patty's Day remote show.
Right.
First ever, 2018.
Right. Tim Finnegan's.
It's
a great Irish bar and pub. They do serve authentic Irish food, well, Irish American, because they do have they have the corned beef and cabbage, not the back bacon cabbage like we talked about on the Racist Food Show.
Right.
They do have shepherd's pie.
Yep.
They do have cod and fish and chips, which is more English.
All that, man.
They have
with no pig. I'm on it.
They have a great Irish breakfast. It's like 5 pieces of sausage with some eggs and some sliced tomatoes and it's amazing.
So yeah,
beans.
We're gonna show you. We're gonna show you some Irish foods. We're gonna have it on show. We're gonna introduce some of the foods, real Irish foods. We're gonna have a couple drinks. A couple beers. Have some Irish whiskey.
Okay.
We're gonna Lollapalooza that day. So definitely want to invite you guys out. Those are local friends in the area. Definitely come on out today.
Talk with the manager, Jimmy. Jimmy's gonna hang with us probably for a little bit.
Big up to Jimmy.
Yeah.
Show love to him. So definitely, we want to invite y'all to come on scene with us, come on set with us. And come to the bar, show your love, support, party. And
there's live music. There's gonna be 4 different bands playing at 4 different times.
Yep.
So we'll hopefully get some band members on the air with us.
This will be our first ever, remote. So like we said, we're trying to take the show places, do things, interact, and we just not gonna stay in the lane. We're gonna jump in everybody else's lane too.
I don't know if you've ever celebrated St. Patty's Day at a real Irish bar before.
Nope, I haven't.
So this is
gonna be my first.
Our cultural push of the B and White or the B&W, the black and white.
Yep.
So this is what we're going to do to keep learning each other, who we are and where we come from.
Yep.
I'm a quarter Irish, supposedly in my background someplace, but we like to celebrate our Irish heritage.
Mm-hmm. And we all got one thing in common: we drink, they drink, we all drink.
That's right.
So we all gonna drink.
And I will be in my orange shirt, not a green shirt.
Right.
Because the green are for the non-Irish and the true Irish, which makes no sense. And then the orange is actually for black Irish. So contrary to the sounds of the name of our show being the black and white, I'm actually black Irish because I have Irish descent and I have dark hair.
What about Cleveland brown orange? Because I come in there with some Cleveland browns in my crew.
Well, you would need to be in green because you are non-Irish.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely that's gonna be a live one for you guys to definitely come on down and take part with it. So with the show here. I know we
still gotta do our music. So
we were trying to do that. Yeah. We ran over past the hour format today, but we do have one more because it's a gun show, which was gonna break out.
Yeah.
You know, so we do have our music section, and you know, we'll go ahead and get out here, wrap it up, and then we'll start it back up here on St. Patty's Day for sure.
Yep.
So music assignments this week. I had
trio.
Trio, and basically for those of you that don't know what song they sing that It's on a commercial. That's where it's from. The Volkswagen commercial that goes da da da. This group is the one that sings that as actual song, people. I'm not lying. Now, really, when you go to the beach and have a bonfire next time, you need to pull out 24-pack or a keg, pop them in the CD, you set.
Yeah.
You might want to have something to eat too,
yeah.
You know, because going to be out there a little bit. Me, I always like to eat wherever I'm at, just in case, because I get hungry day or night. But they out there, they really nice, man. You know, they actually take me old school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Real easy, laid back, rolling music. But they really like remind me of beach music, where we just beach bums on the beach, just listening, popping Corollas.
See that? Yeah.
You know, sitting back. Because they're real comical. The lyrics, they make you laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The lyrics is real comical with them. So it's real enjoyable, high energy, real enjoyable group there. Da da da.
Yeah.
You know,
they're a fun group.
Right.
Don't take them seriously. If you take them seriously, you're not going to enjoy it. If you just go back and you just want, they're good. They're good. They're great musicians and they have fun and they know how to write songs and it's stupid fun.
Right. And that's the one thing I noticed with. Listen to other artists and different things, like from Pink Floyd to Gary to Kathleen. I noticed you can't have expectations, because the first thing I thought when I heard Pink Floyd, you know, that Dark Side of the Moon. Dark Side of the Moon. I thought he said Pink Floyd, I thought rock. Oh, it's gonna be some heavy rock. No, like I said, that Dark Side of the Moon from Pink Floyd is a very eclectic album. And if you don't believe me, I challenge you to listen to it yourself. Come back and tell me that you didn't like it. Tell me what you didn't like about it, because that is a great musical album, enchanting and everything with transition. So, you know, definitely one thing is I stopped having expectations when it comes to, you know, hearing artists and music for real. Just taking in the purity of what it is.
Yeah. And then, of course, I had Redmond.
What did you say?
Redmond. He's Jewish.
Not Jewish. Red Man. He said Redmond. Like Redmond, Washington.
Right, Redmond.
He's Red Man.
So, Redman, Time for Some Action.
Right.
So I actually listened to the whole album. What the album? Time for Some Action is great, but actually my favorite song, and the one that I saw you rolling to when you're 19-year-old, 20 self, rolling down the road. That's how you roll a blunt. That's how you roll a blunt. That's how you roll a blunt.
Yeah, man.
That's how I saw you roll it. Time to roll a blunt.
Yeah. I had my days, you know, you roll down the block, you know, I was a knucklehead at one point, you know, just doing all the uncool stuff and unscrupulous behaviors from a mid-teen black male that's hitting with the wrong crowd, doing what he should do behind doors, just publicizing it to everybody. You know, but yeah, man, that was the one thing. But Remarkable is fun. I like that song. Yeah. But my favorite song, Time for Some Action. Yeah, that's exactly. When I heard that song, that was my get hype song, because when I heard that song, that's what got me hyped to play football every damn day.
I can see that, because that was
every damn day.
The great breakout song on the album. You know, it had that skit to begin with, and then just busted into that song. Yeah, totally. Set the tone for the whole album. Set the whole tone for the whole album, man.
Yeah, for real, man.
It's a great listen.
So that's where I wanted to hear, because that was my get hype dude. That's my get hype mode. Yeah. Dude. So
for sure. And of course, Superman love.
Oh yeah. Superman. Hey, you know you got Superman 3, because the thing with Redman is each Superman album he come out with a new one.
Really?
Yeah. So he's up to Superman level 4.
Nice.
So it's pretty slick. It is pretty slick. So, you know, we have this time. So I actually have Busta Rhymes,
Nice.
who I want to give you, but Busta Rhymes is on so many levels, and you have to understand Busta Rhymes' career has also went through phases.
Sure.
You know, so Busta Rhymes of 2001 is different from Busta Rhymes of 2012. Now, within that, as far as, you know, Busta Rhymes has always been Busta Rhymes, but his vocab, like, Busta Rhymes was real heavily involved in mathematics during the ELE, Extinction Level Event. That was 1998. Okay. The Coming was 1996 when he was coming out.
Right.
But Extinction Level Event, to me, is like one of the hardest. And I'm just a fool because he has ELE2, Extinction Level Event 2, that came out in 2016. Right. And I actually haven't heard this. I did not hear all of Year of the Dragon in 2012. But that's the one I want to give you is because he's on a different level with the mathematics in there. Right. So yeah, I wanna share that with you. Okay. With that Extinction Level Event. I still bump that. Cool. Sometimes I just hit that Busta Rhymes mode. I just go back to the old school stuff with it. So
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
So what I have for you today, going off of the European vibe. So Trio was an 80s German band that got big 90s in the U.S. because of the Volkswagen song. I'm going a little bit further west this time. Not so much pop, not so much rock, not kind of going, I guess, Vegas lounge singer, so to speak. This is the man that
Jones?
Elvira lost her virginity to.
Elvira,
the mistress of the dark, lost her virginity to this man right here.
Oh, I should say, hey, it's that person that just popped up there. What's up, motherfucker? That's an inside joke. Okay, so those that he just want to give a shout out to my man AP's wife. You know, it's just an inside joke. But just want to say hello to her and how she's doing and everything. Shout out to my lady as well, Miss Monique. She's over there working today. Boo got to work today, man. You know, that sucks to work on Saturday.
Yeah, right?
Which, you know, is a different story, but keep going. So, you really do gonna pull up? Oh, I guess Tom Jones. You won't believe it's just music.
So I'm cheating a little bit on this one. This is the best of Tom Jones.
Okay.
It's not an album per se that shows his style. This is him throughout the years from the 60s through the 80s.
Tom Jones is a pimp, y'all. If y'all don't know Tom Jones, I only heard like 2 songs ever, so I really do need to hear Tom Jones for real. Yes. But the most I know about Tom Jones is from my mama and the other women of my mama's age. Yeah. My mama told me women threw panties at Tom Jones at concerts.
He's the originator of the panty thrower.
Panties, y'all. I ain't had no panties thrown at me unless the chick was drunk and it was up in my room.
Yes. And supposedly the rumor about his stuffing of his socks was not true. That was real.
Tom Jones. Hey man, Tom Jones.
But he's a beautiful vocalist.
It's a legend, icon.
Some great range in here. Everything from true Vegas lounge music to some more hip-hop-ish R&B style. To some folksy country type deal. He is of Welsh descent, Welsh English descent.
Okay.
But he is the man, the legend, Tom Jones.
Yeah, Tom Jones is a man, yo. I mean, you know, for what he did, for what and how he was doing it. Yep. You know, you give credit to where credit due, man. Yep. That's what it is.
He said supposedly in his heyday, even though he's married, and I don't believe in this, but in his heyday, he had up to 250 groupies every year.
You know, I be hearing them stories. Like, it's funny because, you got Tom Jones. You got Chuck Norris.
Yep.
Okay.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris wasn't the man?
Not as far as I understood, as far as infidelity. Gene Simmons, I heard.
Gene Simmons?
Yes. Kiss.
No. Yeah. Gene Simmons. Why
Yeah.
Gene Simmons?
I don't know.
Gene Simmons. The basketball player. Will Chamberlain.
Will Chamberlain.
One of the greats.
Yes.
Rockstar.
Rock show today, man.
What's is it Alice Cooper?
No,
What's
that's
Rockstar with all the not Gene and there's another one.
Gene was Kiss.
But you hear about all these. And my wrestler, woo, Nature Boy, Ric Flair,
Ric Flair.
women, all. But you hear about these astronomical numbers.
Yeah.
You're like, is it like for real? Like,
Yeah. Is it
like,
is it fun at that point, or
like,
is it just like
right?
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah.
it's all like with chewing licorice. You get to your 13th licorice. You're like, okay, this is good. I can put it down for a little bit.
Right.
But when you hear 1,200, 2,300, even Greg Hardy talk about some astronaut, all that slept with these women. You're like, is it for real? Is it really true? Like 200 people is a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
And just to go 200, not to say, oh, you didn't have over 1,200 women. You're like, is it? I mean,
Why?
That's a lot. That's a lot. I'm like, are you exaggerating? So I'm just saying. I do. I just think, are y'all really exaggerating? No, not to say that you didn't put a dent in the in what you was doing.
Sure.
But are the numbers really that big?
Sure.
I don't know, just curious stuff, man. You know what I'm saying?
Anybody out there who has their big numbers and they want to come on the show and talk about it, we'd love to have you on the show.
We talking big numbers, y'all.
Well, big for me would be like 10.
So yeah, I was thinking like 13.
All right.
Big numbers. But now that concludes today's show, man. Tune in to us live at over at the Irish spot. What was it called again?
Tim Finnegans.
59th
59th Avenue in Val. If you want to join us live, we'd love to have you. Want to join us on Facebook? We'll do our normal 11, 12 o'clock show, and then we're going to have spots throughout the evening as the festivities kick in. We love the music that we're going to be listening to. We're going to eat some food.
Irish.
I'm going to show them some real Irish beer, not that green shit, and then some real Irish whiskey.
I want some food.
Yes.
You know me. So, what I'm saying? Shout out, peace, love. Till next time.